Chairman, I would point out the distinction that the ranking member defines as without a difference, without a distinction. There is a difference, and the distinction is this: that the previous amendment addressed it said no new construction and no renovation on existing bases. My amendment says no funds can be used to even negotiate any provisions, nor do new construction or renovation. None of the resources can be used. So mine actually blocks the president's policy as opposed to catching up on the other end of it. But the important point of it is this: we have a president and administrative policy that has defied the rule of law. He's even refused to enforce the laws that he has signed, and then put out the welcome mat down into especially Central America. And we have reports of planes lifting off of places like Guatemala City, flying unaccompanied alien children into the United States, and then they claim the Department of Homeland Security has a legal obligation to care for them and house them. Well, not for everybody on the planet that the President has sympathy for, Mr. Chairman. And so what we're trying to bring forth here is a greater respect for the rule of law. The President, I believe, has gone outside the law with this memorandum. Respect for the rule of law and moving towards a fiscal responsibility that may require a sense of austerity. We don't have either one with this administration. This amendment does also preserve the Article I authority of the United States Congress, which has been eroded significantly over the last 7.5 years. I would reserve the balance of my time.
Gentleman from Iowa reserves. Gentleman from Indiana is recognized.
I would simply reiterate my opposition to the gentleman's amendment and yield back my time.
Gentleman yields back the balance of his time. Gentleman from Iowa is recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'd say again, addressing you and with the attention of the body, that this is one of the pieces that the President has used to go outside the bounds of his authority, inside the bounds of our constitutional authority. And I've made it a point to come to this floor time after time and protect our Article I authority that's vested in us, and to be able to make sure that we keep all of this in front of us. This Congress has never failed to send, the House has never failed to send a message to the President of the United States that we will defend our constitutional authority, at least with regard to immigration. This amendment does that. I urge its adoption, and I yield back the balance of my time.
The gentleman from Iowa yields back the balance of his time. The question is on the amendment offered by the gentleman from Iowa. Those in favor say aye. Those opposed say no. In the opinion of the chair, the ayes have it. The amendment is now in order to consider amendment number 25, printed in House Report 114-623. For what purpose does the gentleman from Iowa seek recognition?
Mr. Chairman, I have an amendment at the desk made in order by the rule. Number 25.
The clerk will designate the amendment.
Amendment number 25, printed in House Report number 114-623, offered by Mr. King of Iowa.
Pursuant to House Resolution 783, the gentleman from Iowa, Mr. King, and a member opposed, each will control 5 minutes. The chair recognizes the gentleman from Iowa.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. My amendment is a bit different than the previous gentleman from Alabama's amendment in that I had drafted this amendment to block the use of any funds within this appropriation bill from being used by our military to house illegal aliens or unaccompanied alien children. And so my amendment is a bit more specific, and I think it's on target in that it says that the funds made available by this act may be used to carry out or in response to the memorandum to the Deputy Assistant Secretary of Defense titled Memorandum for Secretaries of the Military Departments Director Joint Staff, dated November 25, 2015. And the summary of that is that this memorandum, which I have in my hand, November 25th, is from the Department of Homeland Security, that to the military, that says identify the inventory that you could allow to be used to house unaccompanied alien children, and then they want to enter into private agreements for each facility. And this amendment that I have, as drafted, really says this: no military bases or buildings will be used to house the unaccompanied alien children, period. So that means it covers, I think, the topic that's in Mr. Burns' amendment, and it covers the broader topic, which is our military should not be used to inappropriately house and be part of the welcome party that the President has set up that's encouraging people to come into the United States illegally. And with that, Mr. Chairman, I would